talk tonight is entitled Sharing Leadership Works. And we're focusing on the 5 shared leadership disciplines. No, so can I just would like to hi Roy, thank you for your message. So tonight I would like to, of course, start our session. This will just be a 1 hour session. Of course, the introduction has been completed already. Thank you for that, Sean. And I would like to start with session rules, no? Just like what we do in coaching, we also try to um, establish norms in teams and also contract this with the people in the audience. So for tonight, um, can we all commit to make this as a safe space for everyone? Because this is not exclusively for coaches. We do have other leaders in the room tonight, and I hope that we will still have more leaders to come in. Yeah, and then no judgment. So let's, I mean, Filipinos are judgmental by nature, so let's try to avoid that as much as possible. And of course, um, yeah, so let us learn from each other. So we'll be using the chat a lot in this session because we just want to hear from you. If you're not able to speak, you can always use the chat. And then let me just start by engaging all of you through these questions. Okay, so please answer the questions that I'll be popping on the slides. And just like how we do it in coaching, in online sessions, please type in your answers, but don't click it as yet until I say so. Okay. So the first question is, what is the one word that you can use to describe the leadership structure in your organization at the moment? Take around 10 seconds to think about it, just one word. And then if you're ready, you may click it now. Lean, hierarchical from Jojo, hierarchical, Vicky. How about the others? Informal from Jerry. Okay. Can we hear from the others as well? So basically what we see would be hierarchical, informal, yeah, and then command and control. Roll down. That's interesting. Command and control. 2 words. Okay. Sige. Myopic. Wow. Nearsighted. March is also saying it's hierarchical. Okay. Roy Landicho. Influence. Okay. Yeah. And more informal by being. Okay. Nearsighted. Yes. Myopic is nearsighted. Okay. So thank you for your answers. Thank you for your responses. And my next question would be, let's imagine that we have a magic wand. So if you are to wave your magic wand, what change do you want to create in your organization now in terms of leadership? Okay, think about it. And then if you're ready, feel free to click. Again, delegation. Everyone is a leader, empowered, more open, there's better communication, work-life balance. Marge, hugot, huh? Humuhugot. Agility, Sean. Thank you. Okay, how about the others? Can we hear from you as well? A more shared and sustained vision moving forward together. Thank you, Evan. Okay. Anyone else? Yeah, so that's the power of your magic wand. Okay, so, and the third question would be, oh, thank you, humabol si Jerry, no, and Bing, more sustainable business and leadership practices and mindset. Then Jerry said adaptive. Okay, The third question will be, how will you feel if leadership is shared in your organization? Just type in a feeling if ever that you're able to achieve shared leadership in your organization. Click away. Wow. Oo, wow talaga, Vicky. Yes. Okay, how about the others? Welcomes it, but needs to know the boundary of what is being shared. Interesting. Jerry lightens the load. Yeah, very much. More empowered to speak up, less stressful, safe. Thank you for that, Edlin and Jojo. Lighter, a refreshed feeling in getting things done better. Well done. Thank you for that. Evan says inspired, involved, and impact driven. Wow. See, Evan always comes up with this tagline sounding responses. No, thank you for that, Evan. Okay, so for tonight, so that's just an introduction, and hopefully that engage everyone in the call. Um, so let me just start by giving you a definition of shared leadership, what shared leadership is all about, because it is becoming more and more relevant in teams right now. So shared leadership, it recognizes that leadership is a collective responsibility that can be distributed among team members at all levels in the organization. So in organizations, there will be like multiple teams, right? So leadership can be shared essentially, and it's a collective effort for everyone. And it can happen at all levels of the organization. This is based from a paper that was published by our mentor, Ernie Turner, and our one of our faculty in the region, Sui Heng, in 2023. And then shared leadership also implies that everyone in the organization must be trained, socialized, and also empowered to take care of customers in a responsible manner, because the shared leadership behavior inspires each member to, take the responsibility of taking care of the customers. At the end of the day, our customers they would be the lifeblood of our organization, aside from of our team members as well. Correct. So for tonight, we'll be going through the five shared leadership discipline in a very quick way, because in our sessions, in our certification session, this usually takes about half a day just to download the concept, and also like the entire certification program for you to experience and get to know the tools that we use in shared leadership team coaching certification. Okay, so any question at this point in time? Any clarification on how shared leadership is defined? Okay, so far wala. Thank you. And we do have a lot of shared leadership coaches in the call, so it would be great to hear from you as well. A lot of you have been shared leadership coaches before me, so I would value your experience and your insights as well. Okay, so let me start with the first shared leadership discipline, is connect. Okay, so I promise Sean and Vicky to make this as interactive as possible. So for those who are comfortable in switching on their microphones, please do so. It will really make the session more lively and also more engaging. So what comes to mind if you say connect? What comes to mind if you say connect? You can either share in the chat or also switch on your mic to share. Anyone from our coaches or from our leaders? What do you think about connect? How often do you even do this with your team members? And another question would be, how intentional are you in trying to establish connection with your team members? I see that in the chat no kanina, there was a comment saying that um, command and control. So command and control role done. You might want to elaborate on that and try to connect that to the connect discipline. Roll done if you're okay to share.
Yeah, I know. I can. Yep.
Yeah, sure.
Um,
Thank you.
so the command control reference I made is it's hierarchical, but it's very much from a controlling kind of leadership in some cases where there's very little uh, co-creating, and it's really more on focused delivery on execution, where the expectation is the leader instructs and everyone's expected to deliver as told. And the level of connect, therefore, is a very what unidimensional kind of way. And it's
Mm-hmm.
mostly pushing down and
Mm-hmm.
expecting that things get done according to what that leader may have prescribed the people and the teams to do.
Yeah, so it's if I may use the word transactional, no, it's very transactional, the kind of connection probably. Roldan,
Correct.
is that right?
Task based,
Task
transactional.
based. Yeah. So in our what we do as shared leadership coaches, and by the way, thank you, Roldan, for switching on the mic and sharing your thoughts. Um, it's actually having this curiosity, the genuine curiosity, to your members, or better yet, to each other. Okay, openness will be there, warmth and caring for each other's personal lives will lead you to interpersonal relationships and deeper trust, and sometimes to deep friendships, right? So, I mean, we all come to work. Way back when I was still in corporate, the first thing that comes to mind is the task that I need to do today. You open up your to-do list. Connection happens, at least I'm just sharing from experience. When I was in corporate, I was very task oriented because I want to perform, I want to deliver. Yeah. So it's somehow, yeah, just like what you said, it's transactional. So that's why it's important for us that when we talk about connection, we visualize it with, like warmth and caring, and our deeper trust can lead to deeper friendship with our team members, right? And I see people typing in, Evan, connect means that I only know a bit about the people I work with, but I have and maintain genuine trust-based and caring connections with them. Thank you for that, Evan. And Remo, to connect is agreeing to engage and offer value. Can you elaborate on that, Remo? I want to hear your voice.
Okay, so hi there, Noel.
Hi, hi.
So for me, if you connect, regardless of any agenda, you're out
Mm,
there being open to receive and to give, right? So without knowing, without knowing who to meet or what to
mhm.
expect from other people, just, being yourself and being open
Yeah.
and trusting in a way.
Yeah. So that enhances a safe environment, right, for
Mm-hmm.
everyone, safe space
Yeah,
for everyone. Yeah,
right.
and yeah, we have this very simple tool in our team coaching certification, and a lot of the coaches here who are shared leadership coaches have experienced this. It's a simple, we call it Coffee Connect. So we usually have what? We have coffee at least several times, me 4 times a day, and usually having coffee with our team members. Usually, what happens is that you talk about a lot of things. But what we change in when we deploy Coffee Connect as a tool, we ask the participants, or one or two people, to two or more people, because it's a team, to talk about or answer a specific question. And our favorite question that we usually use here is that, what is new and what is news? So imagine just this morning in my workshop, I started the day with that, and the room went. it was so hard to pull them together because they were just talking and just sharing all of this news and what's new and what's news with them. And these are people who have not seen each other for a long time, and there are new team members also coming in. So it was just right. And the CEO of the company said, "Well, it was a great exercise because it allowed people to mingle and also share their stories, no? And it started the session in a positive way. Yeah, so that's very good. So yeah, so so being also said, connecting means that humanizing the workplace by getting to know people on a personal level, like your team members, the value as a leader, as it helps you have an in-depth understanding of your team members, diba? And recognizing their strengths and weaknesses. When they also feel that you truly understand them, they are more open to share info in the workplace that can be pivotal in a more innovative practice, decision making, and policies, etc. Thank you for that answer, Bing. So yeah, so do you see value in having this in your organization, being able to connect more, being able to connect in a different level, deeper personal level, knowing the humans that you work with, right? But just like what C Bing has answered. So let's connect, okay? And the second shared leadership discipline is contract. Oh, thank you, Jerry. Connecting builds culture. Yes. That's why in our practice, we believe as coaches, as shared leadership coaches, culture building is easier if you start it from the top. Yeah. So it's hard to, especially like this client of mine, it's an enterprise, it's composed of different companies. So all of them brought in different cultures. So one of the sessions that I've done with them is to really help them establish a common culture. But we started with the leaders and we're slowly cascading it to each of the different subsidiaries of their organization, of their enterprise. Yeah. So contract. Thank you for that, Jerry. So contracting, when you hear the word contract, what comes to mind? You can type it in the chat box or just switch on your mic and share your thoughts. Agreement. Hello, Hazel. Agreement. Transaction agreement. Yes. Clarifying expectations. Thank you for that, Vicky. Yeah. Hmm. Yeah. So contracting is essentially an agreement. What do you agree on if you contract? So just like what si Vicky mentioned, clarifying expectations. How important is that in any employee boss relationship or a team leader and a team agreement? How important is that in that kind of setup? Clarified expectations, um, norms can also be part of that, right? The ways of working. And Evan says contract means setting and maintaining clear expectations and ways of working. That's the norms that I mentioned. And clarify rather than merely assume. Oh, yun, di ba? In our workplaces, maraming nag-assume, no? I thought it was like that. Akala ko. Yeah. So by setting these norms, by contracting the norms, the ways of working, and even the expectations, it simplifies things, right? So, but since it's a contract, there has to be mutual agreement on this. And what we usually do is that in our practice as shared leadership coaches, to help people or teams come up with norms, we ask them to just write in a post-it note um, and answer a question. What is the one behavior that if we all are to do will make us a higher performing team? That's one of the powerful questions that we ask, and we just limit it to one because if we have like 10 participants in the room or more, most likely you will have 10 different answers because if you're force fitting one just one behavior into one paper. So then we do a gallery walk on this and we share it openly and then we vote which one do we put into our norm statement, right? And Remo said, um, agree on an exchange, the input from each other to produce output, be it joint or individual. Yes, thank you for that, Remo. So again, it's a collaborative effort. No, I heard a while ago co-creating things in the organization. So in doing a contracting, you're essentially co-creating an agreement, a norm statement, or a set of ways of working with your team or your with the entire team, no? Or actually with other teams because there are in organization you also work with different cross-functional teams. Yeah. So the discipline of contract is getting alignment, agreement, and of course commitment around expectations of work and relationships. So it's not only limited to work but also to the relationships, right? And when I use this, when we use norming exercises, it's almost always it connects back to the values of the organization because the behavior is usually stems out from a set of values, right? The core values. I'm sure the other coaches in the room would have experienced the same. But when they try to fish out the behaviors that you want people to agree on, it almost always connects back to the values of the organization. It's been such a pattern in my practice. Yeah. So coaches, was that also your experience? Does it always thread back to the values of the organization that they're trying to promote? Anyone want to share their experiences? Magtatawag ako sa inyo. Yeah, sino ba? Coach Jerry, let me hear from you. Nagtawag talaga ako, no?
Noel,
Si Sir Jerry pa.
what's the question again? I was not attentive. Sorry.
I did not contract. No, I'm just sharing that in my practice, Jerry. It's when I usually do the norms exercise,
Mhm.
almost always, no, it connects back to the values of the organization. Kasi diba, the question that we try to answer there is what one behavior that if you were to do would lead you to become a higher performing team. In my practice, at least,
Yeah.
kung nagko-connect back siya to the values of the organization. Is that the same in your practice?
Somehow, yes, there's alignment with the values.
Mm-hmm.
There could be some specific norms which are not necessarily
Mm-hmm.
found within the values. So these are ways of working within a team. No, you can localize certain
Yes,
norms,
yes.
di ba? Parang
Yeah.
yung generic, the values are parang for everyone, no, general
Mm-hmm.
guides
Mm-hmm.
for behavior. But a
Yeah.
team specifically might have some norms, let's say for meetings, for instance.
Oh, yeah, yeah.
'Di ba? Yung mga gano'n.
Mm-hmm.
Medyo
Yeah.
specific na 'yan at saka
Mm-hmm.
tailor fit to the team already. So,
Mm-hmm.
may not be in the values, but that's necessary for the teams.
More on the behaviors that they need to
Oo.
do or the way they operate, right?
For specific activities which are team-based.
Mm-hmm. Exactly. Yeah, and then of course, contracting will be very helpful if you have a specific process that is, parang the accountability is not clear. So contracting can be done to align and agree. Okay, Remo said agree on exchange. Okay, and then yes, because contracting requires a certain level of trust, and in organization, trust level is also shaped by the company's culture. And as you said, culture is driven by leadership. Thank you for supporting that, Remo. And being said, actual practice in the workplace may differ from what is written. That is written culture, as stated in the manual code of ethics taglines. Yeah. So I have personally experienced that, like, in some of the companies that I've worked with, you know, lip service, di ba? Parang, I thought we were espousing this kind of behavior. I thought we were espousing this value, but again, it doesn't show, right? So that's why it's important as a shared leadership, or a leader practicing shared leadership. It's important to be conscious of this dynamics, right? And
Noel,
these disciplines. Yes, Jerry.
I have a question for you.
Mm,
Uh,
kinakabahan ako.
no, no, no. Kasi we're talking about what's the difference between a norm and a value. Eh?
Ah,
Would
okay.
that be the same when we say what's the difference between a belief and a value?
Oh, wow.
Kasi ang belief, di ba, parang can be fleeting,
Yes.
can be more changeable, but the values are more steady. Eh.
Yeah. Um,
They're more core, di ba?
that they're more core. Yeah.
Also, in
The,
the same manner, when we take a look at either norms or beliefs, they can be
mm,
fleeting. Eh.
mm,
Because
mm,
beliefs
mm.
spring from experience, no?
Yeah,
And
and then it depends
and when
then.
you have new experience, you can have a new belief.
That's true. That's true. Like, especially, I mean, following from a growth mindset perspective, diba? If you're able to prove to yourself that you can do something that somehow challenges your belief, no? Or actually expands your belief. Pwedeng ganon, no? So, but going back to your question on the differences, so norms are behaviors, diba? And this is what we see. That's why we agree that ano yung behavior, and then what we usually do is that we ask people to, or the teams, to define in a norm statement how they want that to be seen. Sometimes, say, if we try to be so conceptual about it, sometimes it becomes just an exercise. And what helps is that describe it in a statement. Like, for example, um, um, we listen actively. So, and we listen actively and give people respect. So that can be either part of behavior that is showing respect or showing care. So it depends. So that's why it's important to really co-create the statement that you have. And then the values, of course, values are usually, di ba, concept siya. It's very conceptual, and that's why it's important to really see to really convert the values to actions, which is the observable behaviors. Yeah. I hope I answered your question, Sir Jerry.
Yeah, you did. Very good. Thank
Thank you. Yeah, so that's contract. And then our next one is collect. So collect, what comes to mind if it says collect? On top, collection, donation. Yeah. So collect means it's the discipline of collect is to proactively seek the facts, thoughts, feelings, and energy, as well as the collective wisdom and intelligence from everyone who has a stake. So if you hear that description of collect, anong nararamdaman nyo? How does it make you feel? If you're the team member who's been actively or proactively being asked about your thoughts, your feelings, and your wisdom and your intelligence, how would that make you feel if you're the team member? Anyone? Feel free to type in. If your boss asks you, what do you think? Yeah, engaged. What else? Inspired. Nice. Heard, encouraged to speak, feeling valued. Nice. Say so. Ako, when I was given a voice, no, from Evan, when this happened to me, and I had a very inspirational leader once, I felt valued. I felt motivated. I felt motivated to even contribute more because um, I feel that my thoughts, my ideas are valued, no? And I'm I'm being put to good use. Yeah. So imagine if leaders would do that, no? Sometimes as leaders, especially the traditional leaders, would think that they have the would on exclusivity to what they have as ideas, no? And then they're also pressured to know everything, but um, we don't have enough capacity in our heads to know everything. That's why the collective wisdom becomes important, and also drawing this out from people, creating the space or creating the environment that it's okay to share and it's okay to share your thoughts, no? Yeah. So Jerry said, what you collect depends on how safe you are to speak the truth. Nice. Very wise statement, Jerry. So it depends on how the leader creates that environment and also modeling it also, right? So ako, when I was in corporate, I feel when my boss is not being sincere. I felt when my boss was not being real, and people feel that. And I'm sure most of you have experienced that also one time in your life when you're still reporting to bosses like that. Oh, okay. Sige. And then we have collaborate. Collaborate. It's a common word. So when you say collaborate, what do you hear? Sorry, see Evan said heartily agree, and once more, this shared leadership discipline of collect builds upon the earlier two, which is connect and contract. Yeah. Because if you're able to establish the connection, create the agreement with your team, it is now easier for you to gather information, gather their thoughts, gather their feelings, and then their ideas. Yeah. And then of course, when you're able to do that, collect more information, collect ideas, it becomes a collaborative environment, right? So it makes it easy for people to work together. Don't we, as leaders, don't we dream of that? People, our team members being able to work together, collaborate, be productive together. Diba? It's a very nice environment to be in. As mentioned, it will be less stressful because people are working, people are sharing the load and sharing the work. Okay? Any other things that you want to say about collaborate? So, collaborate is to invite and to co-create, and the world must work face to face or virtually, collaborate with anyone, anytime, anywhere. Di ba? Parang siyang, I don't know, metaverse. So, yeah, and this was proven during the pandemic when we were working virtually most of the time. Yes, Evan, I see your hands raised.
Yeah,
Coach Evan.
yes, thank you, Coach Noel, for sharing so far what shared leadership disciplines are, and how it can be a positive force for leaders, teams, organizations. And
Mm,
I'd like just to touch briefly on this discipline, which is collaborate.
mm,
And it's around a four-letter word that is a very common word, but is sometimes rarely mentioned, no, within
mhm.
teams, within organizations, and that's the word help.
Oh,
You know,
yeah.
so having that safe space that we establish intentionally using the discipline of connect, clarifying expectations with contract,
Mhm.
um, tapping into the collective wisdom of the team using collect, no?
Correct.
And in collaborate, we now open ourselves to meaningful, interactive ways of how we can ask and receive help, in order to support not just our own individual goals or aspirations, but rather our shared goals and objectives in teams and in organizations. So I think it's simple but powerful that in the discipline of collaborate, we have the courage to simply ask for help
Mhm.
and receive help when we need it. So
Mhm.
that's all.
Mhm. Yeah, thank you, Evan, for sharing
Noel,
that.
Noel,
Yes, Jerry, yes.
can I have the privilege of asking you another question?
Sige. You're
Ah,
giving me tachycardia, sir.
ano kasi very very ano to, this is a very important word I think in the shared leadership
Mm.
framework, no? Siguro the question is, if you are in an organization that is usually having a silo thinking,
Mm. Mm.
what are the things based on your experience have you done
Mm.
to create that collaborative mindset?
Oh, yeah, I go back to what Evan just said. I ask for help. When I was in my organizations, I don't know. I don't know if it's a unique trait of mine, no. So a trait of mine. I'm not shy to ask for help. Although there was when I was a lot younger, pride would get into the way. I feel that I need to know this. I should be the one who has exclusive knowledge about this. But as I mature in the organization and as I become a leader, you know, there will always be a time that you will find that it's okay to ask for help, and people will be more than willing to connect and also provide the help that you were asking for, and it becomes a mutual there's mutual benefit to that because you also open up that kind of you're setting up that environment, so yeah, so it becomes uh productive altogether, so everyone wins, uh, just by simply asking for help. I hope I answered your question, Sir
Yeah,
Jerry.
yeah, 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 you did. But the other thing that I want to put on the table is because sometimes the dilemma here is if you're part of a team,
Mm,
when do you conform? How can you conform? Probably the question is how can you conform and still maintain your individuality?
mhm, mhm.
Because that's also important for people who are part of a team. That's the reason why. What are the conditions for me to really collaborate, get out of myself, no, of my in a way self interest, no.
Mhm.
Independence, siguro yun, the other two words that is at play here is independence and interdependence.
Interdependence, yeah. Yeah, I mean, we all work, we don't work alone, diba? Anywhere you are, you always work with teams, you always work with someone. Even in our family, we work with our spouses, with our children. So again, we don't work alone. So that's why to me, what really is that, again, that's where the contracting probably comes in, because it's okay to it's okay, parang it defines when it's okay to conform and when it's not. Ano ba yung expectation in this kind of working relationship? I think that's where it becomes important, no? Um, the conformity, of course, when we are new, we tend to still observe and try to check, no? And if it's really um do I need to conform to this, or am I a fit to this kind of culture? Yeah, so but in my own experience, Sir Jerry, it was really more of it was an evolving journey for me because that's when I became parang more confident with myself, that I knew myself better, na I don't need to conform if I don't want to. But the top of my head is that how do I participate? How do I become a team player? No, without losing my individuality. Yeah. I see the hand of Christine raised. Christine, thank you for coming. Jerry, I hope I answered your
Yeah,
question.
I like that phrase, without losing my individuality, because we don't want to get lost. A lot of the times it's too much, no? Parang it's a
Mm-mm.
balancing act, no, Noel?
Mm-hmm. Mm. Tsaka sa akin, Jerry, what really helped a lot was that it's pride over progress. Kasi
Mm-hmm.
parang if I stick to my own individuality, how is that making me progress? 'Di ba? Sometimes if we're so stuck with our own egos, that also limits us to move or to become better. Yes, Christine. Christine, you want to share something? Oh, Christine? Okay, so maybe later. So see, Marge naman said silos are usual problems, especially in large organization. Perhaps we'd try to show the organization the benefit of working together. Ideal state from me to we. Oh, nice. Shared identity versus working in our usual teams. Perhaps there's a need for systems thinking, yes, to tweak reward systems, reward team behaviors, right? And also remove the impediments to collaborating across departments. Yeah. Aside from systems thinking, even systems, no, systems per se, like your platforms, it allows collaboration to happen. Okay, so sorry to hear about that, Christine, that your mic is not working, but you can always type in your thoughts so you can recognize your thoughts as well. Okay, and then the last one, I hope collaborate is clearer. And then challenge. Okay, challenge. Ito, when you say challenge, it is a discipline of constantly questioning the status quo, pushing the envelope, encouraging new thinking to get ahead and stay ahead. Yeah, so when you say challenge in a team, usually, di ba, people are, I would rather not speak na lang because I'll be challenged anyway. But once you're able to create a safe space, contract the norms that you want to do, and of course collaborate and collect the ideas, it somehow changes how challenging or challenge the process of challenging somehow is given a different light, no, to in this context, no? It changes somehow the context because the aim there is to, to evolve, to get ahead, to innovate, yeah, and then to expand your thinking. This is the most challenging in the Philippine context. True. Yeah, and I think it's also kasi Filipinos we're very quiet, no? And then when we get challenged, we get, I they didn't like my idea. We take it personally. So, but once you're able to agree on certain ways of working, that when it comes to when you're being challenged, we can agree that the objective of that is to encourage thinking, encourage growth, encourage expansion of what you believe in. Yeah, and I just want to go back to what Christine is saying here. With regards to Coach Jerry's question, I think that it is the beauty and the power of connect. It allows you to get to know more those of you're working with, and with that able to have a better understanding of each other. Given this, I think the concern of individuality will be more respected. Yeah, so the connect. So it allows you to really explore the person in front of you, right? And Remo said, and as you said, Noel, Pinoys are generally judgmental. Ginudge ko yung mga Pinoy, no? And preventing the establishment of real safe space. Yeah, that's true. Judge her on the room in the room right now. So I'm very much guilty of that. I'm very critical as a person, as a leader, even. But again, becoming a coach that has humbled me a lot and made me realize that I've made a lot of mistakes as a leader, but it's never too late to change it. That's why I'm here in this profession right now to help create better leaders, hopefully, to make it better for people in the workplace. Then Coach Evan said the opposite of challenge is complacency. I love that. Tama, no? If you don't challenge, you stagnate. Yeah. Something that I'm sure most leaders do not want. True. The question, therefore, that needs to be asked: how can we courageously challenge our status quo and sustain innovation and growth? Mm,
Noel,
beautiful. Yes, Jerry.
would a the type of questions we ask be considered as challenge?
Mm,
And if
yeah.
so, what kind of questions?
Mm. Thank you for bringing that up, Jerry, because uh, in my non-coaching life, I would ask very direct questions, close-ended questions, and usually my intention is just to make me feel that I was right, make me sort of validate that I'm the boss here, right? But when I became a coach, the question that I was asking was really, one is that it's difficult to craft questions that will open up the mind of people because it's a skill that you need to develop and practice. That's why it is important that we ask the right questions, ask the powerful questions that will really um, invite the one you're talking to talk more. And our job is to listen more, right? As leaders, we we step back and try to let them do the talking. I hope I answered your
Yeah.
question, Jerry.
If if if
Uh,
if I may
mhm.
just very quickly
Yeah, sure.
share an experience of one coach that I had.
Mm,
There was a special request made by the coach before we got into the contract. No?
mhm.
The request was, I want to be challenged, Jerry.
Oh.
So may may ganong ano, no?
Mm.
And
Expectation.
expectation, and that was part of the contracting, no? Through our relationship, I want to be challenged. And the way she described challenge to me from a coaching perspective is, I want you to ask me questions I never asked myself.
Ah.
Ganun kasimple.
Mm,
Do not ask
well,
me questions I have asked myself.
mhm, mhm.
I want questions I have never asked myself. Very simple definition of challenge to
Yeah.
her.
But I think it's admirable for that coachee of yours to recognize that she needs to be challenged, no? And that again gives, if I'm the one listening to that kind of coachee, the willingness to go through this process of coaching and open up her mind, no? And also hear the questions that you will ask that she's never thought of. It's courageous, no? I think it's even admirable. Yeah. Vicky, your hands are raised. Yes, Vicky.
Yeah, I was just, when something about challenging, it has to
Mm,
come from a genuine curiosity.
yes.
Sometimes we challenge, and I've seen leaders challenge to prove a point. When we challenge, this is really, we push the envelope because we know it can be pushed. We encourage new thinking because we're really curious to learn
Mhm.
about new thinking. I think that's when challenge becomes less of a, how do I say it?
Intimidation.
Less intimidation and less perceived to be an act of arrogance and how do I say it, parang attack, because it
Yeah.
comes from a real genuine need to know, push the envelope around
Yeah.
an idea or something.
Mhm. Thank you for that, Vicky. I think curiosity, even as coaches, um, we are told to be curious.
And
Um,
authentic, di ba?
and authentic. Yes, please stress that point because sometimes we sound curious, we try to sound curious, but actually we are just trying to validate our point or validate our own selves. No? So as leaders, I think it's important to have that coaching mindset that, I'm here because I am genuinely curious about how you can help the organization and how can you contribute to this project or this endeavor or the goals of the organization. Yeah, so those are the five shared leadership disciplines. Um, I hope you have a favorite now, because my next question would be, and if you want to see them and for better appreciation, this is what we usually show. It is the back cover of the book that Ernie has written. So we always say, "Thank God it's today." Evan, why do we say "Thank God it's today"? Because we cannot wait till Friday. So it's today. Everything happens today. And we thank God that it's happening today. The connection that we know about and practice the shared leadership disciplines, right? And of course, all of these disciplines are also backed up by the action reflection learning, which can be a different session altogether. Yeah. So wink, wink, Sean and Vicky. Maybe you can consider other coaches as well to share their ideas about ARL principles. Yeah.
Of course.
Yes. And just to promote also, there's a journal. Don't ask me about pharmacognosy and phytochemistry. So, but this shared leadership discipline has been featured in this journal of pharmacognosy and phytochemistry. I've checked with Ernie Turner on how he feels about this paper, and he said he's very proud of this. He's been featured by Bahaudin Mujtaba with together with another leadership guru. But that leadership guru is promoting let our customers be our friend. So it really connects together. One is coming from the external point of view, and then the shared leadership is within uh, the group, the team. So if you're interested to read this, this is the article. Then you can easily access this through phytojournal.com. Yeah, and then we're nearing our 1 hour mark. So which is your favorite? Which shared leadership discipline do you need the most, do you think, in your organization? Or just a favorite, probably? O sabi ni Evan, thank God it's today means having and enjoying the present as a gift, an opening, an opportunity to be good and to do good with others. Oh, challenge, oh, Vicky. So Vicky loves challenge. How about the others? What do you think you need the most? Collect. Thank you, Jerry. Personally, me, it's contract. Collaborate and challenge. Nice, Vic. How about the others? What's your favorite? I should have done this through Mentimeter so we'll be able to see the status right away. Challenge, the golden chance to create greater impact. Wow. Thank you, Evan. Yeah. And then again, I would like to close the session with questions again. So, which shared leadership discipline do you see being practiced currently in your organization? What do you have? What do you already have in your organization? Hmm? For those who are still in the workplace, collaborate. Wow, good. Collaborate with Philippine Leadership Collective. Yeah, there's a lot of collaboration here. What else? What else do you see being practiced in your organization? Don't tell me wala. Yeah, okay. Collaborate then si Remo. Jerry collaborate. Oh, that's good. There's a lot of collaboration going on in your own organizations. That's great. Great to hear that. And then, what area do you need most help from in terms of those 5 disciplines? Where do you think there's need for help in your organization? Are people contracting enough? Are people connecting enough? Or collaborating enough? Or challenging enough? Ako personally, what I feel is that if I go back to my previous organization, they would need help in connecting because people would just come in and focus on the task at hand. Yeah, so Vicky says connect, connect. Yeah. So parang because there are KPIs to be delivered, right? And especially if you're in an organization that is pressured to perform, it's task, 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 task. But sometimes you just need to pause and connect and inspire. And that's when the performance would follow. Yeah. So I would like to close my session with that and open the floor and see your faces and also hopefully hear some questions from your side. Some more questions.
So I think we have a few minutes left. If anyone wants to open up their microphone and ask Mr. Noel some questions. He's already been put to the test tonight, so let's test him a little bit more.
Oh, by no less than Jerry Plana himself.
Anybody?
Anybody wants to ask or share, probably share your, because a lot of attendees are coaches. Thank you for coming. Thank you for supporting. Thank you for supporting our kind of coaching that we promote. Oh, I see a heart from Marge. Malu Mercader. Can we hear from you if you have a question? Or Roy Landicho or Roldan. Yeah. Sige. Okay, so time check, Sean. It's 9:04. So
Well done. Very
yeah.
good, Noel. Great session. Thank you very much. And that'll bring our session to a close for tonight. But first, a big thank you for Noel for a really engaging session. And thank you for your time, Noel, as well, for calling in on a late day from Cebu while you're out there working hard. Thank you for bringing the energy and the insight. So thank you very much from the PLC. And to everyone, if you're not already a member, don't forget to join the PLC's LinkedIn and Facebook groups. Visit our website again, www.leadershipcollective.ph, and that will give you all the links about how you can join our growing collective. And of course, a big thank you to everyone for their participation and joining tonight. We know it's difficult to squeeze this in with dinner and children and family and work and everything else. So we hope that you had fun and found a lot of inspiration from the session. And we look forward to seeing you at our next event. Good night to everybody and stay safe. Thank you.
Goodbye. Thank you. Sharing leadership works.